Thanks everyone for joining us today. My name is Tim Begonis. I'm CMO here at DTools. And joining me today are members from our DTools Cloud product team, Bobby Bernarte, Bailey Stone, Kimberly Hirsch, and Ryan Schmidt. And we're excited to be sharing this sneak preview of our new DTools Cloud Service Management Suite. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us, and let's get going. So a little background on us. Thank you all for being DTools Cloud subscribers. But for those of you who are not and are just interested, we're celebrating our 25th year in the industry, and our mission really and has been throughout our existence is to help you build better businesses through the use of our software. Obviously we started out 25 years ago, and we had our flagship product, System Integrator. We launched DTools Cloud almost 5 years ago, and we've consistently create new capabilities and try and improve on what we've already built. We're very proud of the fact that the software has been accepted in the market. We've won a number of awards, and we are continuously working to make sure that you guys have the tools you need to build better businesses. We launched DTools Cloud at CEDIA in 2018, almost 5 years ago, really with the goal of providing you with a next generation platform to help you drive sales, manage your sales opportunities. We really started with the sales process, providing what we believe to be best of breed tools to help you manage your sales opportunities, deliver visually impactful multimedia proposals to your clients, which can help you guys improve your communication both internally with your clients and ultimately improve your profitability. We started with sales, and we've continued to build out the features in the platform for post-sales, such as change orders. We released project management last year, and we're really excited to share with you the next iteration, which is our service management suite. So the service management suite is really designed to help you fully implement service and service plans for your business. We make it easy for you to create and manage service plans, present them to your clients, which we believe will make it more likely that they will accept service plans and service contracts. And then we give you full suite of tools to manage those service calls, schedule service, dispatch your technicians, invoice and collect payment for service. We also have full mobile views for your field technicians that will give them the information they need to manage those service requests, track their time on service calls, take notes, track their status, report back to the home office, and ultimately fulfill those service plans and service calls. I'd like to introduce Bailey Stone from our DTools Cloud product team, and she's going to dig a little deeper and provide an overview of what the team plans to share with you today. Bailey?
Yeah, hi everyone. So I'm just going to go over a quick overview of the areas of focus that you're about to see in our demo. So the first area is going to be plans and settings. And these plans and settings are tailored to each of your clients' needs and their projects, and they're highly customizable to benefit both you and your client. And then also call management will help you manage, track, and communicate call information. This will act as kind of a hub for all of the information that you might need throughout your project's life cycle. And then also payment and invoicing. This will help generate requests. You can share these with your clients and also collect payments directly. So we have a lot of features planned for upcoming iterations. So this is just a small handful of them that we're going to share with you today. These are just features that we've identified in each of those areas of focus that I just shared that are kind of some higher level ones that you'll get to see in the coming months. So The first one is going to be quoting and selling plans outside of the proposal, RMAs, emergency service calls, the ability to tie in with inventory management, QuickBooks integration, and also automated renewal and payment collection.
All right. Thank you, Bailey. All right, and now I'm going to toss it to Ryan Schmidt, who's going to actually start sharing some of these new features. Let me give this to Ryan just a second, and Ryan will share his screen and we'll get going.
All right, thank you, Tim. This is loading. Can everybody see my screen? Or somebody? Okay, thanks, Tim. Okay, so I'm going to be showing, like Bailey said, the service plans aspect of it. And everything that you're going to see that I do here is going to also be able to be done within just our normal settings. We've implemented a huge module for service plans and service calls within our settings. Just for time constraints, I'm not going to show that today, but just to be clear, anything you see here can be done there as well. So here we are looking at a very regular opportunity that I've set up. As of now, nothing's changed. This is all the same thing that you would see any other time you come in here. So let's walk ourselves into this conference room quote real quick. And you'll see that it's filled with a couple objects. I've got some of the products and I've got some labor attached to it. Again, so far nothing's changed. But what you will notice here is on the left-hand side, we've got our service plans icon. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And here I've got 3 service plans set up. We've got our pretty standard silver, gold, and platinum. You could have as many in here as you want. You could have 1 to however many. And what I'll do, instead of creating a new plan, although I could do that, what I'll do is I'll just jump into one of these to edit it. But before I do that, I just want to highlight that you can see here the breakdown is we've got a plan that we'd like to recommend to our customer, and then we've got some other plans. So these are plans that your customer will get to choose from. They'll be able to expand boxes in the proposal that I'll show here in a minute to see kind of the differences and compare and contrast between these 3 plans. But more importantly, they'll be able to see which ones you recommend or that you highlight to them most prominently. That also being said, if you don't want to recommend a plan, you can always drag it down in here and give equal weight to everything, and that would be fine as well. Of course, you can only recommend 1 plan at a time, but that's neither here nor there. So let's jump into this silver service plan and make some edits to it. So you can see here, we'll start right at the top. You can give it a different name. You can give it a different description. And before I continue, I want to point out that, again, you can do all of this in settings. The reason we want to give the ability to edit here in the quote is that sometimes you might need to make a sale. And so you might say, you know what, we want to actually drop the price of this plan because we're really confident that this customer will sign if we can give them a little bit of a better deal for that reason alone. Continuing on beyond the description, we've got our base pricing. And we have 2 options here. We've got a fixed price and we've got a dynamic price. A fixed price is kind of self-explanatory. It says that I want to charge $100 a month for this plan. And again, that's a base price. And so you'll see here that's $120, not $100. I'll circle back to that in a second. Or we could set it to our dynamic price, which will take up some percentage of the project, either products and labor, and then again per month. You could also even choose per cost of the products and labor as well. I'll skip over tax. That's no different than it would be anywhere else in cloud. And we'll see our lengths and our billing frequencies. And so for these, you'll see that there's an asterisk on both of them, which designates that these are both required. So what you'll see is that at minimum, you'll need to have at least 1 selected for either one. And these aren't the lengths or billing frequencies that you're choosing for this plan, but rather they're the lengths and billing frequencies that you're choosing to present to your customer to choose from. So in this example, your customer, once we get to the proposal, would see that they can choose between a 12-month plan and a 24-month plan. And then they can choose whether they wanted to pay for this plan monthly or annually. They would not see these 2 options because they're not selected. And you can see here the managed lengths. This is something that, again, you can set up in settings, or if I were to click this, for time reasons, I won't. But you could extend this beyond 36 months. You can punch in whatever frequency that you want or whatever length that you'd like, as well as attach discounts to them. So if you wanted to include, say, a 72-month plan that comes with a 25% discount for your customer, you can do that as well. Moving beyond that, we get to our coverage includes section. Again, this can get pretty lengthy. Just for the example, we've kept ours pretty brief. It's an area where you can add different coverage items, which you can set up either here or in settings to say, hey, we perform these services under this plan, either for free or for this certain price, or rather for free up until you get to a limit, such as this top one. We'll give you 2 service calls per month on this plan for no charge. But if you go beyond those 2 service calls, we're going to start charging you either per hour or per service call. That's, as Bailey said, fully customizable, and you can choose how you want to set that up. And so that one is fine because we haven't hit our 2. This software updates one for $20 a month, performed monthly. That's where that $20 addition comes into this $100 base price. And you can also include all kinds of other things in here that we just didn't, just for the example. You can throw in coverage items such as a truck roll fee, fees for excess hours or going beyond a certain limit on a service call, after hours, whether you want to perform service on, either after hours or on weekends and holidays, or any combination of those 3, or even something like a guaranteed response time. You can attach a rate to that. Beneath the coverage includes section is our feature section. And these are kind of features of the plan that don't necessarily carry any monetary value to them. And you can see on just a couple of these examples, they're 24-hour network monitoring. You can call out things like that are even specific to you and your company, such as we only perform service Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, or we only perform service between the hours of 8 a.m. and noon, or whatever it might be. This is fully customizable. This is basically just, I can type whatever I want here and it'll show up on my plan to my customer. And then finally, we've got our terms and conditions that, again, you can set these up in settings, and then you can choose and select which terms and conditions you want to attach to each plan. This is just a very generic example of one. So you can attach whatever, legalese or legal jargon you want to each service plan. Now, if I were to back out of here, I won't go into these other plans. Setting them up is going to be exactly the same as we saw for the silver one. Instead, I'll just jump into editing a proposal. And again, fundamentally, nothing has changed here. This is pretty much the same as you guys have seen in cloud for however long now. But you might notice that here on the left-hand side, we do have our new service plan section. So we'll click that just to jump down to that section quickly. And you'll see that this box is expanded. I'll collapse it for just a moment. But you can see here's where we've got our silver plan, our platinum plan, and our gold plan. It shows the different rates that those are set to. And then again, your customer can come in here and view each one of them. I'm not presenting this at this moment. This is still in edit mode. But this is where your customer can choose, okay, I would like to pay, I want this silver plan and I want it for 24 months, or I want to pay for it annually or monthly. And to look quickly at some of the plans we didn't take a look at earlier. So the platinum plan would give the option of maybe some longer lengths, alternative billing frequencies. Again, this is so customizable, you can kind of set it up however you want and give your customer way more options to choose from than just the 3 that we're showing here. But that's fundamentally it for the service plan. It would go through the same accept and sign flow as it would for any other quote. The only thing is at this stage, after you've presented it, your customer would either choose one of these plans or decline the service plan. This is basically just an addendum to everything else that takes place within a proposal. After the accept and sign, that'll lead to a payment generation, which I'm going to back out here from. And I'm going to continue to share my screen, but Kimberly's going to speak more to that.
Okay, great. So we're going to go into our new service tab, and now we're looking at all of our contracts that we have sold. So we're going to go into the gold service plan at the top. And you'll see that this one has been sold, but we don't have our start and end date yet. So we're just going to put that in. So we're going to select any date. And then you'll see this is a 12-month contract. So that end date automatically filled in for us from 1 year from the start date that we input. So this is all of our details of this service plan, but we can also go into the payment tab. And this is where we can generate our payment schedule for this contract. So if we go into this, you'll see that this is auto-filled with a lot of information. Since this is a 12-month service plan and it's billed monthly, it automatically set it up for that format. And you can see it automatically put in that $200 a month for each of them. And you can edit this at any time. But once any of these are requested, you won't be able to change them, just to make sure that you don't mess with anything that you've already sent to your clients. So if we scroll to the top of this, you'll see too, you can automatically set how many days you want that payment request to be due in after the billing date. So right now it's set at 10. If we change it to maybe, 2 days, you'll see it will automatically update accordingly. Okay, so now let's generate that payment schedule. And you'll see automatically it says our next payment is April 5th, and we'll go in and request payment. And you'll see a lot of information is already filled in here on this modal. All of the information about this contract, because it said the next payment was the one in April, it's already filled with that. This one did have a 0% tax rate, but that was pulled in from the contract, already filled in with our billing date and due date. There are just a few options that you could personalize here. So you can decide whether or not you want to display the payment term schedule. So I guess we'll toggle that on for now. And then you can also type in some custom messaging. This is just some messaging that will appear on the payment request just to make it a little more personalized. And then here at the bottom, you can select which payment method you want to use. So right now we have 3 different integrations. This account happens to be connected to all 3 of them, but you'll only be displayed the ones that you are connected to. And those integrations are ProPay, Stripe, and Card Connect. So we'll just select one of these and create our payment request. You can keep that, yeah. Create. Okay, so this is the editor mode of our payment request. So you'll see this really follows the format that we use in proposals, where you kind of have your editor mode and then your present mode. So on the left, we have a lot of general information about this service plan. We have the name of our company, some information about the clients, billing address, site address. That information is all automatically filled in. At the very top, we have our title, and you'll see that custom messaging would have gone right below it, but we chose not to type anything in for now. You can also edit the billing date and due date and the subtotal and tax directly from this modal. So all of those fields are editable. And you can choose once again whether or not you want to display that payment schedule, but we can keep that on for now. In the upper right-hand corner, we have a few options. You can download this to PDF. You can present it, which we'll do in a moment. You can also send it. So there's 2 ways to send it. You can send it via email or a link. You can also view send analytics. So just as you can for your proposals, you can see who you've sent this with and the day that it was sent and whether or not it's been viewed yet. So just some helpful things. And then we just have some general settings where you can delete this payment request, you can change the payment method you're using, those types of things. So let's go ahead and present this payment request. And you'll see it really looks very similar. We'll go down to our lower right-hand corner and submit the payments. And this looks really similar also to what we use for proposals. So you can put in that information to accept and sign. And thank you, Ryan, for agreeing to my contract. We'll proceed to our payments. This one, we've just selected the in-person payments just so we didn't have to put in any payment information, but you'll have those same options that you do with your other payment integrations. You can collect payments using credit card or ACH, but for now we'll click that button, proceed without payments, and that's it. So let's back out to that payment tab again and just show you what it looks like now. And you'll see that one has been created and paid, and we see the paid date listed down there. So, you know, once it comes time to your next payment request, you'll be able to generate that right from here. And you'll do that for each month for this contract. So now I'm going to pass this over to Bobby, and he's going to talk about our service calls, how to create those service calls and manage them.
Thank you, Kimberly. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second here. And so I'm going to start off with showing you our service management feature, all the items in the left navigation bar, right? We'll start from the bottom up, okay? So Kimberly has gone over a way to look at the contracts. Yeah, this is where you manage and track all your contracts after they've been accepted and signed, right? Here you'll be able to view start and end dates, the price, what status they're in right now. All these are open and current contracts, who the client is, what plan they're on. I'm gonna go ahead and move into the next one, which is scheduling. Within creating a call, you do have an easy way to schedule your service calls as they come in, but if you do prefer to kind of see a Gantt chart of how that looks like and would like to schedule it on this calendar view, you are able to do so by picking the resource here and then scheduling the call this way. The next item on the navigation pane is calls, right? This is a way to track, manage, and all your calls, service calls within DTools. So you'll be able to see all your calls, whether they've been scheduled, whether the payment has been requested, or it's ready for payment request, or if it's still open and pending. As I move to the home screen, what you'll see here is a basic overview of all your open service calls, as well as some metrics up on top. So what you see on the left-hand side is service contracts, a quick way to view how many pending contracts you have, how many current, how many expiring, how many canceled, right? And pending would be that we've sold it, they've accepted it, and we're just waiting on that contract to start. What I forgot to mention is up on top, you do have the ability to filter as to how you want to see these metrics, right? So right now it's set to this month. You are able to set it to last month, this quarter, last quarter, this year, last year, to kind of see how you're doing throughout those time frames. What you do see on screen is also some metrics that we're planning for in the future as far as renewal rate. But what we have on screen is an attachment rate, right? And as I hover over that, what you'll see is my percentages, whether service plans have been accepted or declined on those projects as we presented them to our clients. So in this case, you would be able to kind of view those metrics and use it to your advantage, right? So if this, right now it looks like our acceptance rate is really good, right? But it could also be an indication of, hey, maybe our pricing is a little too low, maybe I need to modify that. Or if this percentage were lower, I would be able to say, or take a look at my pricing to see if maybe I need to adjust that a little bit lower just so it gets the service plans that I present to our clients are accepted more, right? And then to the right of that is our service calls. And it's an aggregate number. As I hover over it, what you'll see is a breakdown of all those service calls that are open. So now let's go ahead and take a dive into creating a service call, scheduling a service call, and then we'll walk through both the back office as well as the technician view. So I'm going to go ahead and click on schedule service. This is just consistent with what we have in cloud, right? So now I'm going to just pick a client, and in this case, I'm going to pick Jones and Associate. It'll automatically fill out their contact information. I know that I've created a project, or I have a past project with Jones and Associate, and we worked on their conference room. In this case, they have a platinum plan with us, and you'll be able to view that here, just to see what that what type of service they have ever signed up for. In this case, you see service contract start date and end date. That's on the contract page, but if they call in and the service contract hasn't started, you do have the ability here to start the service contract. So right now, without a start date, you would not be able to schedule a service call. So this is just a check and balance, a way to say, okay, well, they called in. I know that we have to perform this service call, so we're starting their contract now. And then the rest of it is just site address. And as I click create, it'll take us into our service call. On this first page, it's just details of the client, of the project, as well as the site address, the billing address, and any contact information that you see on the right. If I need to modify that, or if it's a different contact, I do have the ability to edit this right on the fly. What you'll also see on this page is site notes. So as I click on that, I have the ability to add site notes here, right? So if there's a gate code, if there's username and password that the technician needs to get into a system, then you'll be able to enter this, and they'll be able to view this on the technician side. So for right now, I'll just say the gate code is 1234. And then we'll say that the customer called in, and give me 1 second. The customer called in, stated that the projector stopped working and doesn't know why. Projector made a loud pop, screen went blank. They have a big presentation on Friday and need it resolved as soon as possible. So that's the issue reported. I'm going to go ahead and enter that. I know they're on a platinum plan. I do have a way to set the priority. In this case, it's an urgent matter. Fulfillment location is the same within cloud. So if you have multi-office locations and the different rates tied to them, you will be able to select it. I am the owner. If I have any checklist items that I want to pass on to the technician, in this case, I'm just going to have them check everything. And for time constraints, I'm just going to enter check power cable, just so you can see how that translates to the technician view. And then as I scroll down, what you'll be able to see, or what you'll be able to do, is schedule the call and view the available technicians, right? So in this case, it defaults to today's date, as well as the first service window. The service windows you'll be able to set up in your service settings. We have set it up for 2-hour windows and 2-hour blocks. So I've set up my service hours from 9 to 5 with 2-hour block. And then that's how the system kind of auto-generates these blocks. You are not tied to just these blocks. So if I wanted to set it up for 1-hour windows, it would create 8 blocks that I'll be able to schedule against, right? In this case, if I know this job is going to be 4 hours long, I can select more than one block, right? In this case, I can select multiple blocks, as well as multiple technicians, right? So for this one, I can schedule Bailey and it defaults to all available resources by default, right? I can view all my resources if I know that that a certain technician is needed. In this case, if it was me, you can see that I'm scheduled for another job at the same time. But what I can do is I can maybe talk to that technician and stop by this job just so he can perform the service call or help with the service call and then move on to the next scheduled job. So I'm gonna go ahead and schedule this call and show you the technician view. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to the technician view. And you can see that we've scheduled Jones and Associate for today. We give you the ability to reschedule that if something does come up and does happen. The technician out in the field can reschedule that, but for time purposes, I'm going to skip that. We give the technician a way to view the service call or to begin the service call. So for right now, I'll show you the view. And what that displays is all the information about the client, and a way to email the client, call the client, or view the map or directions to the site address. Also, if I wanted more details about the client, as I click on View Client Details, what it'll show me is site details, the exact address, as well as any site notes that are necessary for that particular site. And then again, on the bottom, it gives you the contact information for this particular client. And then on this screen or on the box below it is the issue reported, right? So the technician will be able to view what exactly was reported. In this case, the projectors start working. If more information was provided down on the checklist, maybe I can get the same projector out of inventory, put it on my truck, and then I'm ready to go out to the service this call. So as I scroll down, what I'll be able to do as I start this job is I'll be able to input what the real issue was as what I found, any actions that I have taken, and then the next steps, if there are any, that need to happen. So I'm going to go back one, and we're going to say begin the job. And there's just one primary difference between begin the job and view the job. Begin the job starts a timer, a clock down in the bottom left. So as the technician gets to this service call, what they'll want to do is they'll start or begin the job, and the timer will start to go. And in this case, it's just a way to track time, right, on the job. And this way, the technician will be able to come back to the app and input the information, about the job and issue they found, right? So in this case, the technician confirmed the projector wasn't working. He tried replacing the bulb. Projector was still not functioning. And so what he did was he replaced the projector. And there are no next steps. And this checklist is a way for the technician also to just make sure that he checked everything that was listed by the back office for him, and then proceed with his service call, right? So in this case, an item was replaced. So I'll go ahead and show you the replaced product flow as I go into here, what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to search just like we do in DTools Cloud. I'll go ahead and put in that I know it was a Sony projector. You do have the ability to search by category, by brand, also by model, right? So here I know these are the items that are in my catalog, so it will search on my catalog. And then as I add that product, what it'll do is it'll maintain those search criteria. In this case, it's Sony. If I had a model number, it would show that or retain that. And then as I click continue, it will search again in my catalog for that Sony product. And what I am going to show you here is that I will add the product as the replacement product, but the other button here, which is a request product, in case you don't have it in stock, or if it's a bigger ticket item like a TV, you will be able to request that product to be ordered from the back office. So in this case, I'm just going to proceed with the projector. I'm going to go ahead and add that product. What it's going to show me is it's going to show me that I have the original product, and then I have the replacement product that was installed. I'm going to go ahead and click continue. It's going to prompt me, did you do anything else during this service call, whether that is a repair, or did you use any other additional products? I do have the ability to kind of go through that. If I did do any repairs, or I did use any other products. In this case, I didn't. I'm going to go ahead and click continue. It's going to take me to the work summary. And what you see here is just the same as what you saw on the beginning of the workflow, with one exception. It's this work summary. So it's a breakdown of every item that was used on that particular service call. Here, if there were repair products, it would show up on the top, and followed by the replaced products, followed by the additional products used. So as I click back, I'll go ahead and go to the bottom of the screen. The other item that you'll be able to do is here on the total time spent. This time spent isn't visible to your client. It's actually internal, and it comes from the timer. And as I click this section, what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to assign the labor type. So in this case, it was just standard service, and I spent an hour doing so, and I'll add it. And now as I go back, I have a breakdown of that here, total time spent. I'll be able to input drive time. In this case, I spent 30 minutes driving to the site. If I have any attachments, and I failed to mention this at the beginning of the workflow, any attachments that need to be included to help support the technician, you'll be able to add those to the service call, and the technician will be able to view it. So as I click finish, and it's going to prompt me, is this service call completed? Do I need to schedule a return visit in case that I did request a product, or are we awaiting parts, right? In this case, I'm going to go ahead and say it's completed, and the technician has completed that call. We'll jump back to the office view, and we'll pick that up here, and we'll take a look at what that looks like as the call is completed from the technician. And what you see here is under the work summary tab, you'll be able to view what exactly happened at that service call, right? So here's what that issue was found, the action taken, any next steps, or any internal notes that the technician may have provided. as well as down on the bottom, products used for that particular call. In this case, the original product that was defective, the new product that was installed and was replaced. And you'll be also able to edit the drive time if you need be, or the labor time, which as I click on that, the back office has total control of how that labor breakout comes across, right? And for now, I'm gonna go ahead and still be sharing my screen, but I'm gonna pass this over to Kimberly to talk about payment requests.
Yeah, so the payment request functionality for service calls works really similarly to how it does for the service contracts. So you'll see here in the work summary, you really have all your high-level numbers. So you do see your total price here, and you can see the entire breakdown. And those payment requests that you send for your service calls will have all of the same information. So for now, I'll have Bobby go in the upper right-hand corner and request payment. And you'll see it auto-filled with all of that information. We have the client info, the subtotal, the tax, truck roll fee, the total for the project. The billing date is going to autofill with today's date. You will need to set the due date manually. You also have that same custom messaging that you could put in if you want, but for now we'll just leave it blank. And then below, same as we saw earlier, we can choose from any of our payment integrations that we have connected. So Bobby, if you'd like to toggle one of those on, and we will create this payment request. Okay, so once again, the general layout of this looks really similar to what we saw for the service contract, but it's chock full with a lot more information. So on the left, once again, we have general info about our company and our clients. But then you'll also see there's a lot more to it. So at the top, we just kind of have a summary of our billing date and due date, that general info about the total for this project. Once again, you can customize that payment request message right from in here. If we keep on going below, you'll see your summary of your service. So that issue reported, issue found, action taken. You'll see all of those with the dates that correspond to them. At the top of that, you see the names of our technicians and the total time that was spent. And then we have a list of the products and labor. So you'll see that projector, we have the total for that and the associated labor. And then we see the total price breakdown in the lower right-hand corner. In the upper right-hand corner, we have all the same options that we did for service contracts. You can download it as a PDF, you can present it, you can share it using email, a link, and view analytics on that, or you can just manage general settings having to do with this. And the status of this payment request will automatically update according to whether or not it's been shared, if it's been sent, if it's been paid, all of that will automatically update accordingly. So that is all that we have right now for our demo. Now we're going to open it up to a Q&A, and I'll pass it over to Tim for that.
All right, before we get to our Q&A, I did want to mention that we will be releasing this in a couple of weeks. And as I mentioned in the questions, this is going to be available as a paid add-on for all existing subscription plans. And all existing DTools Cloud subscribers will get free access to these new capabilities for 60 days upon release. So you can all try it out. And then we will be doing another webinar on April 25th featuring the MC Group, which is a consulting firm that helps integrators implement service plans and recurring revenue for their businesses. And we're going to be walking through best practices on how to implement recurring revenue and service plans for your organization and how to leverage these new capabilities for your business.